How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review, and I don't know. It's some kind of coffee beer time, let's put it that way. Coffee beer time in the form of Rushing Duck Brewing's Coffee Bollocks. First off, Rushing Duck. I'm a fan of this brewery. Not too far away from me, about an hour and a half. Got introduced to them by my buddy Ben up in Orange County, New York, where they're located. He sent some beers my way a while ago, and I dug them, and since then kind of realized they weren't too far away, and have gone and drank quite a few of their beers, reviewed quite a few of their beers, so super excited to give this a whirl, because one, I'm a fan of their beer. Two, the first beer he ever sent me was their Dog's Bollocks, which I believe was an old ale. Could be wrong. I think it was an old ale blend. What was an old ale blended with barrel aged old ale. I think there's an S on the end of that. Anyway, really enjoyed that beer. Loved it. It's probably one of my favorite beers I've had from them in general, even though it was the first one. So when they came out with this one, which is their Coffee Bollocks, I assume it's their Dog's Bollocks with coffee in it. I'm sure this whole big paragraph on the side here will explain all that. So let's just dive into it and see what it's got. As far as what it says on the bottle, it says Coffee Bollocks, English Barleywine style ale, Rushing Duck Brewing, ale brewed with coffee and aged in bourbon barrels. Rushing Duck Brewing Company is a small family-owned brewery in Orange County, New York. We are dedicated to brewing full-flavored, forward-thinking beer. Let's see, on the side here we have Coffee Bollocks is a true testament to our experimental nature at Rushing Duck. It originated after after our first release of Dog's Bollocks Barleywine style ale. We were sampling beer in the brewery, and someone decided to mix some of our Beanhead Coffee Porter, which is quite nice. I've had it with it. The result was fantastic. Light bulbs went off in our head and started lighting up. The caramel, oaky, and vanilla flavors from the base beer were a perfect match for the roasty malt mocha flavors that the coffee adds. The coffee used in this beer was specially chosen by our friends at Java Head Brewing Company, or Java Love Coffee Roasting, to highlight and accent the beer in order to bring out the best qualities in it. As with drinking coffee, Coffee Bollocks is best drank fresh, unless you prefer the taste of stale coffee. So 9.5% alcohol by volume. I don't know if they bottled their bottles, but I'm seeing this is about, I want to say it's about 2 to 3 weeks old, which isn't that old. So, label-wise, it's cool. It's pretty close to the Dog's Bollocks label, a little bit different, but I dig it. Rushing Duck's labels don't blow me away, except for their Divided by Zero, which is one of my favorite labels of all time, but at the same time, I dig them. So, let's give this sucker a whirl. An English barley wine with coffee. Asian bourbon barrels. The Dog Bollocks wasn't a blend. It wasn't a full-on bourbon barrel aged English barley wine. So we'll see where this one lands. First things first. Pinky finger, super fast receding head. I mean, that's rocky, and it's not going to be here by the time I finish this paragraph, not the sentence. Khaki in color with darker edges to it. It's really kind of bizarre. I wish you could actually look down and know it. The edges are infinitely darker than the actual head itself. And color-wise, I mean, it looks like an English barley wine. It's murky, it's cloudy, it looks like diarrhea water, which most people are like, that's disgusting, but that's what I want in my English barley wine. So let's get a nose on her. Tons of bourbon. Tons of malted, and I shouldn't say tons of bourbon, actually, because I'm lying. There's tons of bourbon barrel in there. There's not a heat from the alcohol, but I'm getting tons of caramel. I'm getting like this crazy, like, chocolate covered, subtly roasted espresso bean kind of vibe off of it. I'm getting caramels, I'm getting toffees, I'm getting brown sugars, I'm getting that coffee that's non-bittering, I'm getting the barley wine that has that kind of sweetness, but at the same time a little bit of umami kind of going on. It's just like all over the place. But it smells super delectable. Rich. Very tiramisu-like. Not in smell, but in vibe. Like, to me, tiramisu is a cool dessert, but I can rarely eat a lot of it. Yeah, I'm a big dude. Actually, I was going to say I love eating some desserts. Actually, I don't eat that many desserts. I'm just a big dude. Anyway, but tiramisu has always been a dessert that I couldn't really I eat a bit and I'm done. It's too rich for me. This smells kind of like that kind of vibe. Hopefully the beer isn't too rich for me. But it smells super rich. Smells absolutely dessert-like. It does have really nice coffee vibe. It looks nice. The head is absolutely gone. Barrel aging. Parrot. Let's see what this tastes like. Cheers. Way less in the mouth than I thought it would be based off of the nose. I think a lot of it has to do with carbonation. It's very flat. There's really not much carbonation there to speak of. The head receded quickly. There's little spurts of carbonation in there, but I was like, okay, there's a lot of beers that I really enjoy that do that. Hair of the Dog comes to mind when I think of that. But it just lacks this essential carbonation that I need. I don't need tons of carbonation. I love me aged beers. Give me a 40-year-old Thomas Hardy, and I am absolute heaven. But this just kind of lacks that. And if it had carbonation, enough carbonation to where I didn't think about carbonation. Kind of a weird thing to say, but if you think about it, you probably get it. I think this would be like an all-time home run beer for me. It just lacks that carbonation that makes it so essential in a beer like this. And it doesn't have to be spritzy or over the top or effervescent. It just needs to be there, and it lacks that in here. But let's talk about the flavors, and we'll get to the carbonation at the end. It's a fucking sugar daddy. A coffee-laced sugar daddy. That's what's going on. Tons of coffee, but non-bittering, but enough bittering to kind of let you know that it's there. Other than that, I'm getting toffee caramels and brown sugar out the wazoo, but in a very well-done delivery system, let's put it that way. You're getting barrel, subtle char, not smoky, not burnt, but it's got a nice kind of like toastiness to it. I'm getting coconut, I'm getting vanilla, you're getting subtle chocolates, you're getting tons of barrel, you're getting tons of actual beer there. You're getting that barley wine, that toffee and that caramel coming from the barley wine. And you're getting that barrel, that subtle toastiness with that nice vanilla and coconut. You know you're getting that from the barrel. Then you're getting the coffee, which is nice, has a subtle bittering to it to kind of balance out the sweetness of the beer itself because it's a barley wine, so it's inherently sweet. So you're getting all these beautiful bouncing notes and tastes, but then you end up with a flat beer. Is this how this beer is all the time? I don't know. This is my only sample size. I haven't had this beer other than this bottle, but the carbonation is criminally low. It's still enjoyable. I'm drinking it. I'm loving it. I'm going to drink the whole thing. I'm not going to hate it. Actually, this is a capper. I'll probably drink this over a couple of days. Knowing that I'm not going to lose that much carbonation, I'll probably throw a cap in it and be okay with it. But it's just, if you gave me a bit more carbonation on this, it would be like an all-timer for me. And that's the point I'm trying to put across, is that the flavors that I want in my English barley wines, my old ales. And I was kind of I don't want to say pooing on it. I want to say hesitant. When I heard the Coffee Bollocks was coming out, I'm like, I really like the Coffee Bollocks, but I'm like, I'm not sure if coffee's really going to make this beer get better. But it did. Again, not to fucking hammer it home, but it's just that carbonation is the issue, not the actual blending. So yeah, I'm going to cut to the chase and start talking about it. Is it one of the better... It's a weird one to talk about. Is it one of the better barley wines I've had as of late? It's probably one of the best barley wines that I've had as of late, if you don't count the carbonation. It's like, it's such a weird thing to talk about. Let's put it this way. My old reviews, you'll see some old reviews peppered in with my new ones. I've been putting a lot of backlog up as of late. But if you actually go back into 2015 and earlier, a lot of my reviews, I graded stuff. I give it on a scale of 1 to 10. If this had carbonation, I would give it like a 98. But the way it is right now, I give it like an 88. That's the difference. That's how big the difference is in this beer. If it had carbonation, it'd be an all-timer for me. Value and availability, I think it was like $15, give or take a couple bucks for a bottle. $7.50 barrel-aged coffee. That doesn't suck. Again, just wish there was more carbonation. You have to get it at the brewery, kind of, sort of. You never know. These might leak out every now and then in bottle shops in and around the Orange County area, specifically Warwick area. And just let's just say this. If you like what we like this beer, if you want to know how to blend coffee with an English barley wine, and you should drink this beer. They crushed it on the blending front. To put the coffee and the beer in the barrels, especially if they're still doing the multi-barrel blends with these, where it's like not all bourbon barrel, it's like mixture of the two, or 3 or 4, who knows how many barrels. They're crushing it with their blending. If you want to know how to put coffee, I don't think it's cold pressed coffee. I think it's regular coffee, and how to balance the bittering of the coffee with the old school barley wine and the whole nine. This is kind of like a little bit of like a little a class on how to blend beers from coffee to barley wines to barrel aged and the whole nine. It's just to kind of fall short with the carbonation. So it's kind of that thing where if you want to learn how to blend beers correctly, this is a great one to try. If you want to know what it's like to taste a beer that lacks carbonation, and that's the big thing missing, then this is another beer that you would want to try just to know that difference. It tastes aged already. It tastes like it actually has some time on it because of the lack of carbonation. But in general, if you like coffee, you like toffee, you like caramel, you like malt, and you like well done, locally made beers, it's worth a try, even if the carbonation is a bit off, because it was fun as hell to drink. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you did it or you didn't or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below and like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Massive Beers. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped. Massive Beers in all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice Bourbon Barrel Aged Coffee English Barley Wine blend beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.